just having my morning cup of chai and contemplating consciousness. So I thought I would do a little musings on consciousness. Now, anything that ever comes out of my mouth is my bias. Anything that comes out of anybody's mouth is their bias. So this is my interpretation through the past 30 years of teaching yoga and the many years before that studying yoga. Yes, I'm that old. And here's how I'm going to best example and show what I believe consciousness is. So this picture is going to represent pure consciousness. This is going to represent before we were even a body, before we had a mind, before we had this identity of physical form. This is before matter even. So pure consciousness, which we could also say is pure awareness, is a state of completeness, wholeness. It is everything and nothing at the same time. It is like this canvas of the pure observer, the pure witness. And then we have this pure, unadulterated consciousness that somehow meets, merges, or creates our matter, the world that we see around us, our physical form, our mind, our identity, our what we would call our reality. So we have pure consciousness, and I'm just going to use this as analogy, as a potential, that we have the egg and the sperm. They meet, and when they meet, and science has proven this, there is a spark that occurs, and that's called the zinc spark. So in my imagery state of mind, I'd like to think of that moment in time, that spark, is when consciousness creates matter. Like it merges and infuses itself into the creation of matter, into the creation of a being. So we have pure consciousness, unadulterated. It hits the zinc spark and it starts to form the material world, the body. So this would be the tangible material world. This would be our forming physical body. So now it has form that it's infusing itself into, even though it itself is formless in its true nature. There is no form, there is no qualities. It's just pure awareness. So pure awareness gets a body, pure awareness gets a mind. We'll call this maybe this outer rim of this that goes on top of the lid of the body. Call this the mind, and the screen being the ego and the senses. So the ego needs the senses, and this is a whole mechanism. Mind, ego, senses kind of operates all as one unit together. Like they're functioning parts of the computer system, right? And we attach all of these together, body, mind, senses, ego, all form one kind of homogeneous thing, right? For the sake of the next thing, I'm going to take the lid off, but just let's pretend the lid is still there, right? And we've got the screen. Then we start to develop, and we are a baby looking out into the world with just no labels yet to what we see. So we don't see us as separate from our environment yet. We start to form that later. But we are like a sponge, and onto this screen of awareness, consciousness, we start to add things. We start to put things onto that screen. So we have our family, we take in all of their thoughts, feelings, emotions, words, belief systems, all of that starts to enter into this screen of our senses and part of our mind and part of our ego. So this yellow dye we're going to represent as our parents' conditioning from our parents. They're molding us into what they want us to be. And then we adopt some of that, and we develop, we go about life, and we go to our peer group and to school, and there is what they're trying to tell us what they want us to be. what is right, what is wrong, what this person likes, what that person doesn't like. And we take in all of these um, concepts. And we'll say this is the red dye, right? And on to, we still have pure consciousness in here, but on to that, it gets blended, this conditional state of awareness. And then we go about life and we get a job and we have our responsibilities and we have to play the role of what other people want us to be, right? I go to work and I play that role. Let's say you're a doctor and you go to work and now you're playing the role as a doctor. But then you come home and you play the role as a father or a mother, or whatever else is presented in front of you that you have to play that role of. Right, buddies with your friends, whatever that is at that moment. So this is work and peers and all of that, and what we take in from them. That is the green dye, right? And it gets added to this mix. We start to form our identity of who am I, right? I am these things that I'm taking in at this stage. We're taking in our environment, and we are now, through the ego, the identity maker, identifying ourselves as those things, right? We're learning who we want to present ourselves to be in this world. And then we've got the media, news, and anything else that you can take in from your five senses gets added to this screen of consciousness. And then we go about life continually doing that. And our consciousness, this, gets more clouded by this. And then we start to think this is all that we are. And we start to dress it up. We start to put a little makeup on it. We start to fancy it up with clothes, get a little all done up, right? And we say, this is who I am. I have been told by my parents that my name is Melanie. I have been told that I am a female, or I'm having the experience of a female. I am being told that I've got these credentials now, and this credential says that I am a massage therapist, or I'm a doctor, or I'm whatever. So when we start to now reference ourselves as I am a woman, I am a doctor, I am a United States citizen, I am this in the yogic view would be the misidentification, because what you truly are is not the we are the I am. We are the pure consciousness. This is always present in there, but our ego identifies externally, so it identifies with all of these other things. So then we get the human condition. We get suffering because we identify everything of ourselves as being this. Now with this becomes what we like, what we don't like, becomes all of our judgments, all of our needing a validation from others. All of the stuff of suffering happens within this state here. But in the yogic view, we say if you could just see that what is really at the underneath of this all is pure consciousness cannot be affected by the outer world, because it is its essence, the essence of everything. It is the core of everything. And when we attach to that, when we can see that, recognize that, feel that, be that, then all this stuff of the world is just a changeable, comes and goes, and it's not affecting this. It only affects our perception, right, of our reality. It affects the mind screen, the ego screen, and our identification with that is our suffering. Now, can you hold two opposites in your hand at the same time? There are certain schools of yoga thought that say, well, we have to start to take out all of these food colorings. We have to take out and get just to this pure point. And all of this food coloring is bad, bad, bad. Don't identify with it. You are not this body. You are not this mind. You are only this, right? And that's then certain practices of meditation and withdrawal of your senses from the world and focusing on one thing and meditating on that one thing, right? So that is a practice, and the theory is you eradicate all this stuff and you get to just this stuff, and you're in bliss, samadhi, nirvana, perfection, right? I propose more the yogic philosophy that both exist at the same time, And it's where you choose to put your perception to and your awareness to. Yes, this is a part of you, but this is also a part of you. This is the true you. This is the core of you, your true self. This is going to come and go and change. It's going to be changeable. And so which do you choose to identify with? You can live in the world and you can have this body and you can dress it up and play with all of that. But how attached to that as your identity, as your soul identity, are you attaching? And can you be, I'm going to play in the world and I'm going to experience this world, but I'm also going to see that it is not all of me, that this is really the heart of me. And from that state, I enter the world and play with all of this. That's more of a tantric philosophical viewpoint, that there is essentially only one thing in the universe, only one thing within all of us, which is this pure consciousness. So this is where we all are connected, and this is where we are all whole, that nothing needs to be fixed, nothing needs to be changed. Trauma exists here. Trauma does not exist here. So there is a part of you that is unaffected by the things of the world, that is just the pure witness, that is watching the things of this world happen, and they come and go like a dream. Just much like you would go to sleep at night, you would have a dream, and then you'd wake up. And for a moment, you might be upset about what happened in the dream, but then you realize, oh, well, that was just a dream. I am me, and this is my reality, not the dream reality. It's another layer of that we enter this world with this body, and we identify so much with that we forget that we're sleeping in a way, that we are in this sleepy state. And when you wake up within the dream, now we're lucid dreaming. Now we're having an experience of our true whole self that doesn't need to be fixed. Nothing's wrong with it. There's no good. There is no bad. There's only perfection. There's only love. There's only this one undifferentiated quality of being that is completely whole and perfect as it is. And only our identification with all this other stuff makes us not feel that. So we can become more aware and more conscious of what our true nature is and still live in this world, but potentially from that state of awareness, which changes your reality. It changes everything from that state. From this state, the world has got bad, it's got evil, people are doing things to you. From this state, we get to be the victim. And that's a game that you can play in this reality of this life that you're living. You can play the game of being a victim, that there's cause and effect and everything is happening to you. And you're either graced with good luck or you're graced with bad luck, and that's just the way it is. Or you can identify from the pure state of consciousness that this is unchanging, always present, and this is much more like a dream or a movie that you are watching or participating in. So enjoy the dream, enjoy the movie.